Right here. So tonight it's side splits. Tonight it's front splits. I'm going to start with flamenco A to stretch each of my hamstrings a little bit, and then I'm going to go into the actual pose. Now there are other stretches I could do to warm up, but sometimes just going in cold is the way to do it. But I'm just going to do flamenco A on both sides. Let me do that for 4 minutes. We'll see how that goes. So flamenco A on your back. In this case, I'll do the right leg first. I'm going to keep my left leg just relaxed, and I'm going to bring my right leg up. You might use a strap. I'll use a strap to get started. I also like a little pillow for my head. There we go. And now, all right, quick summary. Breathe to relax. Wet noodle, passive tension over time. Breathe to relax, 4-8. In to a count of 4, out to a count of 8, because it helped to calm your nervous system down. Wet noodle. The fibers that we are working to stretch are the very same fibers you use when you flex your muscles. Stretching and flexibility are at opposite ends. So while you can get some more flexibility when your muscles are engaged, a lot easier, a lot quicker, and you can get structural change much more quickly taking your time and relaxing. How long? That's attention, right? 2 to 5 minutes generally. 2 minutes is enough to get structural change in the fibers. You need to spend some time to calm your nervous system down. Then you need to feel just a little bit of tension. And then if you sit on the tension for a while, you might notice that it starts to relax. 5 minutes is enough time for most poses most of the time. You can certainly go longer, but you'll probably get better results from diversity. So do 5 minutes multiple days in a row rather than doing 20 minutes. Exceptions to that would be side splits and front splits. Really, any hip stuff, you can certainly go longer if you're actually working both sides of the hip. Asymmetrical pose, I'm really only working this side right here. So it's a bit targeted, but I wouldn't hold this for, I mean, you certainly could hold this for 10 minutes, but I wouldn't do it. If you're going to do that, well, I'm just jabbering now, but actually I can imagine doing it for 10 minutes, but oh wow, it'd be brutal coming out. Okay, now I'm really trying to just drop my right hip and let it relax. Yeah, and let the leg come a little bit further back. Now, I've been doing this pose for about 4 years. I wasn't like this in the beginning, and I'm not really, I mean, there are people who are far, far, far stretchier than me, but that's the great thing. You can keep progressing a little bit here and there. And as I said earlier, I found a new way to move my hips to better engage my pelvic floor and root from a Tai Chi perspective. And that happened because I spent 15 minutes in side splits last night. All right. All right. Side two. Now I am holding on here, but I'm not really pulling at the moment. I mean, I will occasionally just a little bit of pull, but really relax and just let time take its toll. So you don't want to have a really huge stretch right at the beginning because the first part of the pose and is why we spend 2 minutes is relaxing the nervous system that's currently being assaulted by the stretch. The body's like, what's going on? And now I'm using my conscious intention and breath to say, I got this, don't worry. Trying something out. This is something new. Let's just give it a whirl. Inhale, exhale slower, longer. Calm yourself down. Your breath is a direct control into your autonomic system. And if you take anything away, take this 5 breaths a minute, 6 seconds in, 6 seconds out. When you inhale, expand your belly, which stimulates your vagus nerve. And when you exhale, exhale well, for 6 seconds. In this practice, I'm exhaling longer than I inhale. And in doing that, I'm calming my body down rather than stabilizing it. I'm actively trying to calm it down with my breath. Of course, I'm talking, so it's making it hard. I'm just wondering if I'd set the timer. All right. So hamstrings nicely stretched to start with. All right. Let me think. Do I want to do hip flexors before I go? I'm going to go ahead and do just a little bit on my hip flexors as well. I'm doing targeted poses to sort of get the parts of my legs sort of a little bit stretched. And then I'm just going to go into the front splits. But there's no reason to not just go into the front splits. I'm just sort of like delaying the inevitable. All right, we did this 3 minutes, I believe. All right. This is called jackknife blaster. The leg that is against the wall is the one that's going to be getting the big stretch. Now, this is key. I want my knee all the way against the wall. Okay. Now, arch of my right foot is not playing along, so we'll do something really quick. I'm going to switch sides. No, actually, just one moment. Do a little trigger point. Where is it? Oh, there you are. I got it. Yep, I think. But okay, so I'm going to do change of plans. I'm going to do needles of the pins and needles variety. Turn my toes under and stretch. Yeah, that'll be good. Do that for 3 minutes. Um, this stretch will stretch out the part of my body that was just cramping up. So what I did there is just trigger point. If you don't know what trigger point is, a technique that you might be able to find is you sort of, I'm not going to do anything on my arm, but you find a tight muscle, say in the shoulder, and then you slowly go along the contour until you find a place where the muscle sort of tightens up. Hold it, just gently hold it. 20, 30, 50 seconds, and it will move and release and move and release. And it has a side bonus. I do this on my neck all the time, or I used to. I don't have to do as much now. It really strengthens your fingers. So good technique, and you get stronger fingers. That's related to what I'm doing here. A tight muscle, you're basically overloading the system and getting your nervous system to let go. So that's kind of like PNF. I want to say it's closer to PNF, proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation, but honestly, I don't know about that. Let me, I slurred that a little bit. Proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation, and really all that is you get, and I'll be doing it in the front splits tonight. You get to a point where you're in a pose near the end or well into it. You come slightly out. You compress your body like in the case of the front splits, I'm going to hold my front leg in and I'm going to push my back leg in. I'm going to tighten up my entire body until my body is like shaking. And then I'm going to exhale and release and go, hopefully go a bunch deeper. What I'm doing is I'm overloading my body's nervous system by tightening everything up. And I'm tricking my body into thinking that I'm about to tear a ligament off the bone. Tendon, tendon, not ligament, sorry. And so that's another part of the reflex system. If you've ever seen, say, a weightlifter just collapse all of a sudden, that's what PNF is basically. That system, it's putting you right on the edge, and then you relax into the pose more deeply. And so that's kind of what we're doing. But just holding and letting the muscle just relax. You can, if you're slow and patient and you're paying attention, you can Feel it. Feel like fabric pulling apart. You can feel the muscles give. And I've been on my knee. My knees are starting to slide, which means my shins. I'm going to stop. I don't really want to. Oh, my toes are well stretched. So from this one, I'm going to lean forward, get the weight off my toes. They're still curled under. Then I'm going to just lift slowly, slowly lift my feet. And then I'm just going to let my toes relax for a second, curl them over the other direction. I'm going to point them, plantar flexion, and sit back just for a second to get them flat again. Okay, there we go. Okay, now did I actually manage to make the foot better or worse? We're about to find out. Okay, so now jackknife blaster, 3 minutes is still good. And I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get into this pose. Okay, so both my feet are touching the wall. I'm going to kick up my right leg, put the knee against the wall. Now, you might want a pillow behind your foot there. So I'm going to do that. For some people, especially if you sit all day, you might be in excruciating pain right here. Eventually, maybe you can come up a little bit higher. Maybe you can use blocks. Who knows? Maybe you'll use a stool or a bench. At some point, you'll get your leg up and you'll think, oh, getting your butt to the wall is the thing. That's not the thing. The thing you think is the thing is not the thing. Well, maybe you think it's the right thing. But what we're trying to do is get a nice stretch right here on the hip flexor and even a little bit further down on the front thigh. Let me put that. So what I'm doing here now is I'm trying to relax my hip forward, if that makes sense. So I'm trying to drop my hip. Of course, it's not really moving, but I'm moving it in generally about perpendicular. So it's coming down in this general direction. It's almost like I'm curling under and just like I would be trying to neutralize my pelvis, but I'm doing it through relaxation. So I've got a decent stretch now on the front of my right thigh. And I'm bringing my body a little bit further out, and that's extending the stretch a little bit higher. And if I want to deepen it, now I've talked about this before, but on my right hand, I'm using just these two fingers because there's bone structure to support holding your weight. The pinky and the ring finger, not so much. You'll break your hand. Don't do that. So just these two fingers. That's much better. Or if you can do that, that's fine. But notice straight arm, I'm locked out. This is more for balance than anything else, so that I can allow the right side of my body to relax and get a nice stretch on the front of the leg there. Oh. But let's say you don't want to balance. Don't balance. But move it slowly because I'm maintaining the stretch. I don't want to come too far out. Okay, here we go. So then yeah, that's really nice and along the entire thigh. Now this is less of a hip flexor and more of the front of the thigh. If we do the regular version of Blaster, it gets both the hip flexor, but it does not get the thigh like this does. And I just wanted to do that for some reason. We'll see what it does for me tonight. I don't want to move. And I know that beeping is irritating. I don't know if you can hear it, but something is shifting, and I'm going to let it finish its course before I come out of this pose because I can feel it and it's good. I did not know that the thing would stop beeping because I've never let it go. Okay. Like I said, if you take the time to focus your mind's eye on the part of the body that's stretching, it does a lot of things. One, you can notice when something's about to happen or is happening, and you can feel it, and just it's exciting. It's kind of fun to do that. But also, you're introducing a better sense of interoception. Interoception. Let me say that again. Enunciate. So that has a side effect of increasing your neuroplasticity. Lots of neurological benefits of the stuff we're doing here. Oh, and I don't walk around in pain. That's a pretty good benefit right there. So, same thing, other side, asymmetrical. If you're particularly tight on one side, like let's say, I don't know, you are in a sport where you're kicking with one leg primarily, then you're probably going to be tighter on that side. So do it longer on that side. How much longer? If you do one side for 3 minutes, do the other one for four. You can certainly do more, but don't skip a side. Do both sides because if you skip a side, it'll go to a different kind of asymmetry. So this pose would probably kill you if you're asymmetrical in whatever your sport or what activity is. So you want to do it on that side that you want to that you don't want to do it on. And I'm gonna raise up a little bit. Okay. And really, I've been doing all these poses to avoid doing this pose. But the pose isn't going to do itself. Okay, my left heel has been giving me a problem. I'm going to do my right front foot first. So let's see. I don't have to worry about that yet, but I do want this probably here. That way. Hmm, I don't know about this. We'll see. I'm just gonna do 5 minutes. We'll see where I'm at 5 minutes. Oops. I just stop you. I did. Wait a minute. Oh, that wasn't pain. I don't know what that was. Ah. I'm not actually in pain. I'm just incapacitated. Okay, let's see. I can move that leg that way. That works. Oh, oh man. Ah, okay. Sometimes I get endorphins from this shit stuff. Oh, and that would be one of these times. Okay, let me need a minute. Oh, oh, all right. Now, my left heel is a problem. Is it? Let's see. Pretty certain it's going to be a problem. Let me feel this side. Oh, come on. Ah, there it is. Yeah. So I'm going to either do that or this and that. Let's see. Luckily, this is my stretchier side. So let's see. I'm going to do this. Might regret it. Let's find out. Now, let's see. If I'm up there, there's gonna be more pressure on my knee. And, I'll find out. Come here, block. I'm just delaying. Oh, wait. Hmm, How's that going to work? Is that actually any better? I might start over. Let's see how this works. Hmm. No, it's not going to work. Okay. All right. Now, I have another option, but I'm going to try something else first. Double that up and see how that works. And then for my knee, that'd be fine. My knee will be fine. Probably. Almost certainly. Definitely, maybe. Okay, let's see. My knee is not going to be fine, however. I lied. There we go. Mm. Ooh, yeah. My right foot's still doing a little bit of cramping, so I'm going to go ahead and keep the my toes pulled back. So, okay, here we go. Oh my, this is a minute in. Oh, damn. Okay, I'm going to slow down just a touch because I'm already getting pretty deep. So there. Still a good amount of pressure, but just not quite so fast. Got to pace yourself. Mhm. Holy God. My groin is touching the fucking mat. I know I should beep that, but okay. Let's see if I can get a little more. Ah, okay. Okay, can I use my right hip flexor at the moment? I don't think I can. So let's do this. Okay, that's better. I'm not in pain, as I like to keep saying, but if I use my right hip flexor at the moment, I don't know what's going to happen. So let's do this. Okay, and now I'm fine. That's all it takes. Okay, well, I guess I'm making some progress on the splits, both directions. I'm going to sit here for a while and kind of um, just recover. I'll turn that off in a minute. Mm. Yeah, I'm not going to do ragdoll. Okay, body's still working.